If you have questions, concerns, and are just lost when it comes to planning for retirement, meet Steve Hoyl and Derrick Caldwell of the Hoyl Financial Group.
So, Derrick, as we talk about different income and different ways to retire, tell me about different income sources and different income streams that we put together for people. And, a lot of people come to see us, they've never thought about using that inheritance that they had laying out there. Or they have some rent houses that have just grown and grown in value and they don't want to mess with them in retirement. But that could be a solid income stream. Tell me about that, please, sir.
Yeah, we start with the basics. Those are generally considered your pension, Social Security income, things like that. And then we look at your expenses or how much income you want to generate. And that's kind of the basics where we look at your income gap. How much are you going to have from Social Security or a pension if you're lucky enough to get one of those, right, Steve? And how much you want to spend in retirement, how much you want in income there. And that's our income gap. So then we take that and look at your assets, whether they're inheritance, like you said, Steve, whether it's your 401k, whether it's a lifetime annuity that you have, all those things. We then put together a plan on how are we going to best and effectively fill that income gap utilizing your other assets. And really, fixed index annuities are a fantastic way of getting higher withdrawal rates on a lot of either 401k funds or inheritance, those type of things. That's probably one of the most popular income gap fillers that we utilize today, because you can get anywhere from 7 to 10% income off of that. And that's more than we can take out of our market portfolios quite substantially, where we have to factor in the risk tolerance and everything, like, with the market going up and down. So it's a great piece to lower the risk level in your portfolio and increase the amount of income that you have. So we can really utilize those in a really effective way, but it's always about maximizing every part of your portfolio, guys. You need a retirement savings in your bank, but that doesn't mean you just stick it in a checking account. We're going to maximize that for you. We're going to find the best CD rates at your local banks, things like that. Your market assets, we want to maximize those, whether you have annuities or whatever it may be. Every piece of that, what do you call that, Steve, the three-legged stool there?
Absolutely.
It has to be maximized, guys. That's just working smarter, not harder.
If you don't have an income plan or you don't know where the money's going to come in your retirement, you need to call us today. Either go to retiretexasstyle.com. You'll see a little floating toggle and click on it and start talking to us, or call us. Let's sit down and really figure out what income looks like in your retirement. Derrick, I see so many people come see us and they wait till 62, 63 or right up on retirement. And I think a lot of people really miss that sweet spot. When you're 59 and a half and you can take control of your money, all of a sudden you don't have the fees that you had in that 401k. All of a sudden, you can control the growth. You don't have just 4 or 6 options. You have a plan. Tell me about that.
Well, it's really maximizing, once again, anything you have. If you have an old 401k, guys, 99% of the time, you can move that over. If you've left a job, take control of it, because I would say, there's a large portion of people that have left a job. They left a 401k there. They have no idea their balance, how it's invested, everything. And those are passive funds, guys, which means that they don't change how you're invested. They don't do anything with your money unless you log in online and change it all. So it's just sitting there for you. So that could be something that is going to really destroy your portfolio if you just let it go. And, we just moved a 401k from an old employer. It had been there 23 years, guys. 23 years. Yes. And it made like $10,000 in 23 years.
I was just going to say, lots of missed opportunity there.
Yeah, because what happened is she forgot about it, Steve. But that was during 2008 when she did this. She had moved that to a bond portfolio as well as like some money market accounts, and she totally forgot about it. So it made barely any money over this whole period of time, and she really beaten herself up. And I told her, and that's common. I told her, and that's something where we see it all the time. You got to take control of your money. It's your money. Make sure it's doing something for you instead of just sitting there.
Well, Derrick, did you ask her if she failed to plan or planned to fail?
Yeah, it was definitely a planning issue. But that's what we're taught, Steve. Me and you both are huge on education. We do education classes all over Texas. And, and no one helps with that. Even today, like high school, college, everything like that, it does not prepare you. And most of the time, especially, our generation, our parents didn't talk to us about money. They weren't supposed to.
Exactly.
You don't need to know
It was
how
taboo, yeah.
Yeah. And I tell everybody now, talk to your kids. Teach them better ways. Show them your failures. Show them things that you did wrong when you were growing up, because it'll really impact them.
Well, I think also, Derek, so many people are coming to see us and they have an old plan. They all of a sudden thought they were going to die and their kids were going to take their qualified money and get money for the rest of their life. They don't realize the tax laws have changed. And I'm telling you, it's wrecking some people's estate plans. So, when people come to see us, we should sit down and talk about it. We work with a lot of different accountants, a lot of different attorneys. If you don't have one, we can recommend one. But what I find so often, I have so many friends that are CPAs and tax planners, they're just compliance officers. They once a year file your taxes. At Hoyl Financial, we're so strategic about figuring out, what do your taxes look like in retirement? They can be a third of your income being wiped out each and every year.
Taxes continue to evolve, and I tell everybody a good plan evolves. Just for instance, you look at Coca-Cola, how they've ran their company. The commercials that were on 20 years ago, they don't play anymore. They have new marketing material, new things that come out, new strategies. It's the same thing with your retirement plan, your legacy plan. It evolves. All these things change, whether the legalities, the taxation of it. So you need a retirement planner that's going to get you in touch with these new changes and really evolve your plan as time goes on, because that plan you got 10 years ago, probably 20 things have changed since then easily, and it may not work for you. It may not be maximizing. I'm all about maximizing what you have, getting everything to work for you, because do you want to take a little bit of time each month, each quarter to sit down with me and make sure that you earn the maximum that you can, or your plan is maximizing your retirement? Yeah, of course. Don't sit there and not do something about it just because I'm okay with the way things are. Okay doesn't fit the bill. I'm not okay with okay. No one else should be.
Give us at Hoyl Financial 2 hours to sit down and figure out your retirement, or give your boss 2 more years, and that's totally up to you. I see people that could today be retired, enjoying life, and know they're working for the man. Let's figure that out. It all starts with a phone call right now.
Steve, you are bursting at the seams. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I have to kind of tell you, I'm here in Red River, New Mexico. I've got this Red River shirt on. You never see me casual like this, but, I've been here for a few days, and over the weekend, I was with my parents in town, and I ran into one of our clients, and they had their grandkids, and they introduced them to us. And, it really brought back what they said when they first came to Hoyl and talked to us. He said, I want to do something for my grandkids. And he was a year away from taking his required minimum distributions. And what he did is set up a plan to take that money each year and fund his grandkids' education. He said, when I'm gone, I want to make a difference. And Derek, that's what so many people want to do as they get older. At the end of the day, we all want to make a difference in our options.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. And that's, a big question we get a lot of times is some people are really upset with RMDs. They're like, well,
taxes.
I don't, yeah. And it's American in us, right? That I don't want anybody telling me what to do with my money. Well, we go through that where it's still part ownership belongs to the federal government. So they have rules in place for that. Now, if you pay the tax man off, you could do whatever you want to at that point with it. But until then, you have to take those RMDs and everything. But the biggest thing is you don't have to blow it. And a lot of times that people look at me and they're like, well, what do you mean? Well, look, if you're living great, you have great income and everything like that, what about reinvesting it, right? That's number one. You could always just reinvest that in a different type of account that's after tax. Okay, great. So you can also do charitable contributions, right, Steve?
Absolutely.
If you already do charities and things that you give money to, use your required minimum distribution to pay those. It's a tax write-off for you, and you could take care of the charities or maybe add some charities that you haven't had enough money to do that with before. You can also, funnel it into 529 plans for the grandkids or car funds. I'm a car guy, so you asked me the first thing. Even though I'm a financial advisor, I'm like, I already have 529 plans. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about what kind of car my kid's going to drive, right? And my wife's like, don't forget it needs 17 airbags, so it's going to be nothing you would ever drive, right? And so, but that's just fun for me, and it's exciting when you see grandparents too get involved in grandkids' life and everything. Because I'll tell you right now, my parents and my in-laws do things for my kids that they would never have done for us, right? And Steve, you're a grandparent. It's grandparents' prerogative is what I call it, right?
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah. If you want to load them up with sugar and then bring them back, that's how it goes. But my parents have started to put money into my kids' 529 plans and everything because it's very important that they go to college too for them. But I went to college and my dad was like, by the way, how are you going to pay for this?
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, really?
But Derrick, I think that's what we've been doing for the last 30 some odd years is helping people figure out what phase of life they're in and what their options look like, and then figuring out what option is the most important and running with it. That's where the difference really happens. When people come to see us, they sit down, they put a plan together, they figure out their future, but then they figure out their family's future. You've got time, if you don't have a plan, to sit down and make you, if you have a spouse, your spouse and your family the most important thing. So I want to challenge you today to think about what you've done for retirement, what you've done for the future of your family, and really get serious and partner with us. It all starts with a phone call. But, we talk about client stories. What I want you to know is we want to know your story at Hoyl Financial.
And something else I want to point out here, you mentioned, of course, the RMDs and helping pay for college. And, of course, what you're talking about, Steve, finding your direction, right? And essentially, Steve, what you guys are doing is bringing up a lot of topics and ideas that other financial advisors do not bring up. Case in point, this RMD to use for, education.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're very holistic here. Steve designed this firm because of all these questions he's heard over the years. Yeah, if I don't know the answer, we're going to partner with somebody, or I'm going to get that answer for you. Whether it's taxes, whether it's wills, power of attorneys, legacy. Like, we have partners throughout the Panhandle, all over Texas, that if we need to get you in touch with a lawyer or accountant or whatever it may be, we will find you answers. And we have to be versed in things like Medicare and Social Security and everything, because we hear all the time, even today, years after we started doing this, that hey, my advisor told me to hang in there, the market's down, or I don't really do Medicare, go talk to a Medicare guy, or I don't really want to talk about the taxes parts because of this, and this, or whatever. Like, if you don't get those answers that you're looking for, guys, quite frankly, guys, shame on them for at least not providing alternatives for you and finding you a place to get your answers. Because what most people do is they get defeated, and I didn't get the answers I need. So they go and they sit at home and they just hope it all works out. Well, Steve, what's that thing you say all the time? Hope is not a plan?
That's right. Hope is not a plan. But, Derrick, case in point, one of our favorite clients, she's a retired educator. She's been saying, Stevie, we need to figure out my Social Security. I said, let's get it done. And so, she called up and then she called me back. And for 2 weeks, we did the Texas two-step, as I like to call it, taking 2 steps forward, analyze it, step back. She got different answers. And all of a sudden, let me tell you, when she called me and she had a $10,000 check in her hand for some back Social Security, she was like, I got to say this. I'm like, no, you need to spend this. She's one of our very few clients. You need to travel on that money. She is good with money, I'm telling you. But you know what? What we do is we partner together. So the next client that comes along, we learn from that so we can take those tools from our toolbox and help you if you want to partner with someone for your financial future. Call Derrick Caldwell. Call Steve Hoyl. Let our team help you. Whether you're in Derzett, Texas, Spur, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Austin, Texas, Fredericksburg, Dallas, Amarillo, or even Oklahoma Panhandle, just call us today. Let's just get started. It all starts with a phone call, or go to retiretexasstyle.com. There's a little toggle that'll pop up. Start talking to us.
Taxes is kind of an interesting conversation, especially these days with all the changes coming our way. So how do you plan for taxes? You know, are you one of those, well, April 15th is the frame of mind that I have, or does it go beyond that? Well, here's wealth manager Jeffrey Levine on Decoding Retirement podcast.
Another common mistake I see individuals make is focusing too much on their annual taxes and their annual tax bill, and not enough on what I call their lifetime tax bill. You know, when it comes to good tax planning, it's not about giving anybody the lowest tax bill in any one year. It's looking at their lifetime and trying to figure out how to pay taxes over that extended period of time, such that the total of those taxes over your life is as low as possible.
All right, so Derrick and Steve, does this match your view of, I guess, tax bracket management? Give me some examples here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's one of those things that, especially with retirees and annuities, we see it a lot, or CDs, things like that. But annuities are kind of one of the biggest things there that we see, where anytime you could defer money, what do people do, right? They continue to defer it. We see a lot with IRAs or 401ks. Just like we talked about a minute ago, that nobody wants to take out their RMDs, right? I don't want to pay the taxes on there. But there's implications down the road, especially for kids and things like that, where they talk about inheritance. How are they going to inherit your money? Well, if it makes sense for you to pay 12% today, right? Let's say somebody's in a 12% tax bracket and you have $2 million in pre-tax funds. But your kid is a doctor, or he's a successful business owner, or your daughter is a veterinarian, or whatever case may be. They're probably in a 24 to 33% tax bracket. So if you pass away and you never wanted to take any of those taxes out and pay those taxes and everything, then the government is getting 20% more of your money. So if you pass away, your kids are then inheriting that, and they have 10 years to drain those accounts, which means they have 10 years to pay taxes on $2 million, guys. And most likely it's going to throw them into even a higher tax bracket than they're currently in. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the biggest examples that we use a lot of times, because nobody wants to pay the piper, right? I mean, nobody wants to pay that. But, Steve, you say it all the time that we're in a very good tax environment right now, and it could get a heck of a lot worse, right?
But, Derrick, I mean, so many of our clients, we've helped Roth that money. You know, they have an extra 4% of money they can pay taxes on this year. Start Rothing that money so they have tax-free income. You know, you just owe it to yourself to sit down and look at a Roth strategy and how your taxes can be so much less in retirement. I mean, it's the long-term strategy. It's not the short-term strategy, as he said. I 100% agree with that.
And Steve, I want to make sure I'm following here with our listeners as well. When you say Rothing that money, do you mean what, taking the taxes now, or not? What do you mean?
What we mean is start paying the taxes on your retirement monies. Get those taxes out of the way. We have some programs that we can really show you how you can do that systematically, maybe over 3 years, maybe over 5 years, over 10 years. But when you retire, then all of a sudden your Social Security doesn't have to be taxable. And I know right now if you're under certain levels, your Social Security won't be taxable. But for a lot of people, their Social Security is going to be taxable. But a tax-free strategy just makes sense. But you have to plan for it. You know, that guy that came to see us, Derrick, he talked about if he had 10 years. You know, having 5 years, you can make a substantial difference in the tax in the future, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's night and day difference, guys. But I tell everybody, too, if I can save you $10, and when I say save you $10 from the government, right? We work 40, 50 years of our lives, and we pay our fair share into the government in taxes and everything, and rightly so, right? I mean, there has to be some sort of taxation, but our whole objective is to pay the least, right, as individuals. But you've been doing that for 40, 50 years, guys. If I said I could save you $10 right now, you have $20 in your pocket, and I can either take the 20 or take the 10 from you, you'd be happy that I just took $10 from you. I mean, even that simple concept, it makes more sense than ever that we need as much of our money as we can possibly utilize in this world, right? Between groceries and gas and everything else continuing to go up, that even $10 can make a difference. So if I told you I could save you $10,000 a year in taxes, wouldn't you be a happy camper? Don't just sit there and pay that bill. Give us a call today. We will do a custom tax analysis for you and go over your taxation. And when we do that, we're not looking just at today. We're not looking at tomorrow. We're looking at what you're going to do from this year all the way up until the good Lord takes you.
If you'd like to sit down with Steve and Derrick or a member of the Hoyl Financial Group, visit retiretexasstyle.com.
Investment advice offered through Hoyl Wealth Management, a Texas-registered investment advisor able to provide investment advice in states where it's registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Steve Hoyl, Texas Insurance License 716036. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Hoyl is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Hoyl is licensed in your state, please call 806-371-9473.